Welcome to MilSpouse Matters, the podcast dedicated to encouraging military spouses. I'm your host, Jen McDonald, and I was a military spouse for 30 years until my husband retired. We lived all around the world, raised 4 kids, and dealt with all the challenges and adventures of military life, just like you. Over the years, I came to believe that we military spouses are only stronger together. So whether you're a new or more seasoned spouse, whatever life is throwing your way, let's talk about it. So hello, and welcome to this episode of the MilSpouse Matters podcast. This is your friend Jen, and I hope you're doing okay wherever you are. I know things have been pretty crazy in the world right now, and I am hearing from a lot of you that your spouse has been tasked for a rapid deployment or has already left. So I just hope you know that my prayers and thoughts are with you, and I hope that I can help in some way with experiences of those who've gone before you. I have a lot of podcast episodes about deployment, and I will link to that category, or you can just do a search on my site, jen-mcdonald.com, and just click on the podcast tab. In the meantime, I just wanted to remind you that the Pillar Deployment Retreat is coming up November 17th through the 19th. It's all virtual, online, and 3 days of amazing talks and gifts and all sorts of resources for you. I will also be speaking at it again. I'm going to be talking about the do's and don'ts for in-laws, both from the perspective as a military spouse and as the parent of a military member. And along with that, there's going to be so much amazing content and a way to connect with others going through the same thing. I am also going to keep my deployment devotional at a discount. I had given it away for a time in October. In November, if you would like to grab that on my site, it will be half off with the code November23, November, the number 23, and just plug that in at checkout. On this episode, I'm talking to Julie Xantopoulos from PACT for Animals, which is a nonprofit that I have been following on Instagram for quite a while, and they help set up foster homes for pets for military members who may be going on deployment or moving overseas and just either can't take the pet or can't care for it. And she did mention that right now they are having a massive influx of applications with the current world climate as more and more people are being called to serve and deploy. So they desperately need more fosters. You can find out more information at their website. And of course, in this episode where I'm talking to Julie and she's telling us all about the mission of PACT for Animals, what they have going on, and why they do what they do. I think it's just an incredible talk. And you can also help support PACT for Animals with their Veterans Day event, which you can register for. You can either do it in person or virtually. And it is, I believe, a 10K, a 5K, a 1 mile walk. You can do it virtually. I have signed up for the 1 mile walk, and they want you to bring your pet and take photos and tag them online. So I think it's going to be really fun, and it's a great way to support what PACT for Animals is doing. I think that's it for now. I will talk to you soon. Hang in there, whatever's going on with you. And let's get to my talk with Julie from PACT for Animals. So, hey, everybody. Today, I am talking to Julie Xantopoulos from PACT for Animals, and she is a former online magazine owner and author who has a knack for community building, brand management, and social media engagement. She's thrilled to be putting her skills to use as the communications and outreach manager for PACT for Animals. Julie earned her degree in psychology from Cabrini College and has worked in many positions, but always in service of others. When she's not working or writing, you can find Julie doting on her 7 nieces and nephews or spending time with her recently adopted senior cat, Jasmine. You can reach Julie at pactforanimals.org. Connect with PACT for Animals at pactforanimals.org and all over social media, and we'll be sure to share those links. So welcome, Julie. I am so glad to be talking to you today.
Thank you for having me. It's nice to put a face to the account that always shares our stuff.
Yes, speaking of, that is how I found out about PACT for Animals was on Instagram, because I have 2 dogs and they're both rescue dogs. And so I just have a soft spot for pets. And so I kept seeing them sharing needs for fostering or reunions of military members with their pets. And so I was like, I'm really glad we connected. I had to get you guys on the podcast. And so I was glad. I can't remember who reached out first, but it was just kind of a mutual, like, yes, I admire what you're doing. So I definitely want to have you on.
I am thrilled to be here.
Well, we would love to hear about PACT for Animals, the mission behind it, and possibly, if we have time, how you got involved with them.
Yeah, absolutely. So PACT for Animals is a nonprofit. It started in 2011 because the founder, Buzz Miller, saw a need. He was working in shelters, and a lot of the animals that he was seeing were surrendered military pets.
Mm.
And he decided that that was just unacceptable, that these people were going and serving our nation and then having to surrender their pets because there's nobody to take care of them. So he made it his mission to fix that problem that he saw. And it's fantastic that he did. It's grown since then. We are nationwide, so in all 50 states. And we're just here to advocate for the human-animal connection and make sure that anybody who is serving our country, veterans, anybody seeking medical care, they shouldn't have to choose between serving their country and loving their pet or getting mental health care or cancer treatments. They shouldn't have to worry about whether or not their pet is safe while they're doing those things. They've got something else to focus on. So that's what PACT steps in and does free of charge for those people because they're doing so much for us.
That's so incredible. I think I had forgotten that you guys also help out veterans. That's amazing because that is a huge community with a lot of need. So I can't imagine how busy you all are.
It is. Yeah. No, we get really busy. And sadly, I think one of the things that really does stop us is a lot of people just don't know that our service is there. So a lot of the times they find us either too late, and we've got like a day or two to try to place an animal, or they just never know that this is available to them. So we're just trying to make sure people are aware that this is a resource for them. And then also, we always have more need for pet fosters than fosters. So we're always in the market for those too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, before we get into the nuts and bolts of how it all works with fostering, tell us how you came to be involved with PACT for Animals.
It is the most random story, but I had a friend who knew one of the people that was working at PACT, and they had posted in, I think, a private group that they were looking for somebody to help with intake of applications for fosters. And the listing for the job never went live anywhere, but I responded and just said, that's something I can do. And they said, you absolutely can, but you know what? We need more than that. We need somebody with social media experience, which we can see you have. So I quickly transitioned from I'm just going to process applications and call people to see if they want to foster into becoming the social media communications and outreach manager. And I've, never looked back since then. That's been amazing.
So awesome. And you're also an author.
I am. Yes. So I actually have my third and final book of my first debut trilogy is coming out on Halloween. So I've got the 3 books out. It's a fantasy adult romance series, and I absolutely love it. But it's one of those things with authoring that if you have any, interest in publication, I finished this book a year ago, so I've already written multiple other ones, and now people get to read the story which is fun. Yeah.
Well, give us the links because you'll have to send that to me so I can share it. I have my second book coming out next week, so I totally get it. It is exhausting. And sometimes you're like, why am I doing this to myself?
I know.
That's great. So you're busy.
I am busy, but in the best ways possible.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So tell us what PACT for Animals stands for. I know that's an acronym.
It is. So it's People and Animals Companions Together. And that's what Buzz came up with in 2011. And it really just stresses that connection between humans and animals. And it's so much more than a pet. It's a family member. It's a loved one. And it just kind of harkens back to how important they are for us, for our mental health, for animal welfare. It's People and Animals Companions Together.
Yes, I love that. Well, do you find that what people are normally needing help with is a PCS move, or is it deployment, or is it kind of a mix of all of those things?
It's a mix of all of those things. Obviously, we have a little bit more of an influx right around that PCS time, in that summer months where people tend to start getting, sent, but we get deployments, we get, PCS moves. Like I said, sometimes we just have medical needs, mental health care needs. And it's a year-round thing. We every now and then we'll get a big influx, but it's constant year-round.
So can you tell us a little bit about how does that fostering process work when somebody has a need and reaches out to you? Then what? And how do you find foster families, et cetera?
Sure. So first of all, we only do 6 months to 2 years. We try not to do more than that because it tends to just get very emotionally draining for the foster to have to give something, a pet back after that long. But we do have people that deploy longer than that or something gets delayed and that's fine. But the foster process is relatively straightforward as long as you have your orders. Whether they're medical or deployment, we just need those so that we have a time frame. You apply on the website, and the application is the same for fosters and for people that need care. It's all, kind of encompassing, and it branches out. And then once you need care for your pet, you let us know a little bit about them, rave about them, send us cute little pictures that we can put on our website and talk about them. As long as they're up to date on all of their vaccines, we require them to be spayed and neutered. Then they're good to go into our system. We get them up on our website. I take over, get them all over social media, make sure people see their sweet little faces and fall in love with their stories. And then in the background, we have a team that is working to contact people that are already fosters in that area. And they're making calls and trying to see if anybody's interested in taking that pet in, if they have space. And then if we don't have any fosters in that area or any fosters available for that, particular pet, then we really start boosting and paying for some paid promotions in that area to try to get new fosters. So that's kind of the crux of that part of it. It's relatively easy for the pet owner. They are responsible still for all of the financial needs of that pet. So the foster incurs no charges. The owner of the pet is still responsible for food and toys and medical care, whatever they might need, if they need training or if they need kenneling or, doggy daycare while somebody's on vacation, whatever. The owner is still responsible for them financially. Normally set up with like a delivery system like Chewy, just so that they don't have to worry about it. And then obviously we have a point of contact here in case they're not able to be contacted, which is, just common sense. PACT is the only nationwide nonprofit that does this specifically, where we will screen our fosters, match a foster, and then facilitate the reunion, as well as support that foster family for the duration of the deployment. So if they ever have any problems, they're able to contact us 24/7 and we're able to help them out. If there's an emergency vet visit, if a dog gets out of a yard, whatever it is, we're there to support them. And that's kind of the only one that does that start to stop support for fostering. We require that our fosters keep in touch with owners, which is hugely important, right? So one of the big things for us is that connection between pets and people. If you've got somebody getting treatment, or if they're overseas and they're just desperately missing their loved ones, that email, the pictures, we have people that FaceTime. It's amazing.
I would be that owner.
Absolutely. It's adorable. We get like screenshots sometime of like FaceTimes with like excited little like puppies, like all up in cameras talking to their owners. But they do stay in touch with the owners all throughout, as much as they're able to, so that they can see and check in on their pet. That's their loved one. So yeah. And then on the fostering side, also super simple. You can just say, I'm really interested. I have time. I've got the heart. I've got the home. And we do either a virtual or in-person home visit, normally virtual. And just you walk us around. We make sure the home looks safe. If you have a yard, that the yard looks safe. Yards aren't required. And then we'll match you up with a pet. You can either let us know, hey, I saw this pet on social media, really interested in them, or we'll give you a call and say there's a pet in your, radius of where they can travel to. So a lot of the times with military, they can only travel so far to try to get a pet to a home. And then there's a meet and greet. We make sure that everybody's comfortable on both sides. And as long as they're comfortable, we sign contracts and the pet is dropped off and somebody's able to go serve or get the care that they need while their pet's being loved on and spoiled.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, as a pet owner, I'm just thinking about handing off my dog to somebody I don't know. So I know you said you do the screening. Like, how do you ensure that the pets are safe and cared for correctly during their time in foster care?
Yeah.
It
So
sounds
a
like
lot
you
of
have a good
that
system in place.
we do. I mean, as good as you can, right? So it is virtual, but we do the virtual check-ins. We also have amazing volunteers that will do calls every month and just check in. How's the animal? Is everything still going smoothly? Have there been any problems? Are deliveries coming for food regularly? How's everybody doing? We usually do, if we can, like a little, video check-in on the pets, but we're also, for me, I'm also receiving pretty regularly pictures of the pet, update of the pet. Here's how they're doing. They're thriving. They're having a great time. All these pictures of happy pets. So we do make sure that we're touching base throughout the duration of the fostering to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah. Good.
And then if there's ever any concerns, again, if somebody stops communicating, then, and the owner gets in touch with us, hey, I haven't heard from my foster, whatever. Doesn't happen. Honestly, it hasn't happened since I started. But we have the ability to then, go back and forth and facilitate between the two to make sure there's communication and everything's
okay.
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, good. It sounds like you have quite the system because you've been doing this a while.
Yeah.
So we would love to hear some success stories from PACT for Animals about how you've helped pets and their owners, maybe a couple of examples.
Yeah, it's my absolute favorite part of my job. We just had an amazing reunion video of Abby and her owner who just came back from overseas and just this excited little like happy puppy tushies wiggling. And I love it. But we have a couple of really big standouts right now in my heart, just the sweetest as somebody who just rescued a surrendered a senior cat. We have somebody who had to go and deploy for 2 years and have somebody watch their 18-year-old senior cat. I know, right? So they met and they absolutely love each other and they send pictures and videos and FaceTime all the time. And the owner has contacted us and just said, what a relief and how nice to know that their pet is going to be loved while they're away. And, potentially with the knowledge that it might be, the end of their time and that they're going to be taken care of and that, next best thing is it didn't end up in a shelter, didn't end up, abandoned. It's in a home getting absolutely doted on. And that to me is really heartwarming. It's difficult, but I love that we're able to step in and provide that. So Frida, AKA Kitty is what they call her, is definitely one of the ones that stands out since I started. But there was also one before I started that was Molly Pearl. And she had an owner who was going through cancer treatments. And then it came back and the fosters ended up adopting the puppy so that the owner could just focus on their care. And the owner is still with us, but just has had enough health issues that she was in and out too much and couldn't continue to take care of the little pup. So they are the best of friends now, though, the prior owner and the new, adopted parents of this little sweet girl, and they get together and they FaceTime and they're able to see one another. But that was something that, again, we don't facilitate adoptions, but it worked out that this foster family just loved this pet so much that they were able to do that. Right now, we're also in the process of fostering currently a dog named Werner, the most adorable German Shepherd ever, for their owner, Katie Spots, who's kind of known in the world of philanthropy for facilitating clean water. She does these huge kayaking tours, like cross Atlantic, giant campaigns for raising awareness for clean drinking water in different countries. So she's currently, I think, somewhere out in the ocean, just kayaking with her team. And we've got her pup with us. And, so it's hard to like pinpoint just one because every single one of them feels like such a win for me. Every time I post a picture and then like a day later, they're like, we already have a foster.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, every time I see a photo that's like within where I live, I'm going, I want to. And we just got this crazy, huge puppy that's 8 months old. She's like 60 something pounds already. She's a big old girl lab and German Shepherd mix. And I'm going, I just cannot bring another dog into her chaos yet. So
no,
maybe one day. But yeah, it's just all I can do because I think, I want them all, right?
I do. Every single one that comes around, I'm like, it's like kind of close enough. Or we've got owners that are like, I'll go anywhere. It doesn't matter. I'll facilitate travel wherever it takes. as long as they're with somebody that loves them and can take care of them. So I'm always like, oh man, do I do it? Like I know I can't do it, but it's very tempting because these babies are really sweet. And unfortunately, there are situations where either PACT doesn't have the time to appropriately place a pet. We're just not given enough notice. They didn't know about us early enough. They come to us. I've had a couple this week that were like in need this week, or by the time they came across, my inbox, they needed care yesterday. And they're with a family friend, but can only stay for so long, or they're in a kennel, but can only stay for so long. And it's heartbreaking. And there's been one or two situations since I started where they said, you can go ahead and stop posting about this pet. They deployed and they had to surrender their pet to a shelter. And it breaks.
That probably kills you. Yeah.
It absolutely breaks my heart. I see the sweetest reunion videos and the happiest animals. But then we do have situations like that where we're just not able to help. And it is heartbreaking as somebody who's just a big feeler to, it does, it gets to you because there's just, you read their story and you post about them, and I post about them passionately when I post about these pets, and then to know that we couldn't help them in time.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, hopefully the word will get out more and more, and people will know enough ahead of time that if they need that kind of help, that they can reach out well before that time happens.
Absolutely.
And I know that there's also some changes with the government is going to be reimbursing, like in 2024, I think the plan is they'll start reimbursing some of the pet travel and quarantine fees up to a certain point. And that's huge for overseas moves, because by the time you go back and forth, it can be thousands of dollars.
It's expensive. Yeah, we're facilitating right now a couple of pets that are on their way to Japan, but they had to deploy, and there's still vaccines that need to happen. So we've just are getting fosters so that they can finish up their shots and then, get over there. But it's a really big hassle.
It is.
But luckily, one of the people that works on my team is Brittany Hernandez, and she is a veteran. She did take her pets with her to Japan. So she is helping anybody that comes across that is working on international travel or figuring that out. She is a pro. She's great with that. So we do have somebody on team that has that life experience and is able to help people through that process.
We took our pets with us to Germany and Hawaii. In Hawaii, we had really short notice orders. And I think that's probably maybe a situation you find where we literally had less than a month, and the quarantine, I don't know what it is now, but it was long. And so I was like, well, do I just stay back until it's passed? Because I didn't want to I call it doggy prison when they have to go stay in the kennel when they first get there. And so my sister kept him until enough time had passed from whatever the rabies test was until he was allowed in. And so she just flew out with him, came to Hawaii, and brought our dog.
Oh, no.
But, I know. Like, not everybody has that support. So that's why I'm so glad that people like you guys are here to help with that. So tell us about some long-term goals for PACT for animals.
Absolutely. So one of our long-term goals is really just trying to help those. We're trying to reach people early. So we're looking at, I'm forgetting the word, but we're looking at the ROTCs. We're looking at the academies so that we can get people early and educate them on pet ownership and responsible pet ownership, because there are so many restrictions on breeds, on sizes. And you fall in love with a pet and you take them and you love them and it doesn't matter to you and you want them, but it can make care very difficult. So we're trying to, one of our long-term goals is really just education so that we can encourage people to socialize their pets, train their pets, make sure that they're as ready as possible for a foster. Unfortunately, it's really difficult to place pets when you're like, they've got food aggression and they, it's tough. So getting to those people early, making sure that people know about us. And we would love to expand our foster base. We serve all 50 states, but there's not a ton of fosters in Alaska or in Hawaii, but we get a lot of need, oddly enough, in those areas. We have high concentration areas like Texas, like Virginia, where we need some extra fosters. We just don't have. So we're trying to reach out to people that are military families also on base. Like, hey, can you help out, the people in your community? Are you able to take, another pet right now? So really, we're looking to help as many as possible, but also, if we can help educate people so that they're coming a little bit more prepared when they get to us, would be amazing. Or, just know enough to get breeds that can travel with them or understand
live on base.
Live on base. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is not always possible.
Right.
It's just, yeah. That's one of our really big long-term goals. We would like to be a resource for people where they can come and get the information that they need, and we're able to help them through, because there's times where we can't help them, unfortunately, and then we have to refer them to other people, but we want to be able to be that resource.
Yeah. Yeah. It sounds too like maybe basic training, that would be like graduations would be a great place to let them know about it, because they are just fresh, brand new to the military. And like you said, there's a lot to know about having a pet and being a military member. Traveling, moving, trying to live on base. I mean, there's just some breeds you can't live on base with. And a lot of people don't know that until they go to apply.
Yeah.
So I think education, that's a big thing. I think it's great.
It's huge. And we place rabbits, we place ferrets, we place birds. I mean, any pet. I think we've done frogs. I heard before, that was before my time, but we have done frogs. I've done ferrets and I've done birds since I started. But ferrets are illegal in California. You can't have them. I think iguanas too. So there's random restrictions you would never think of
until you go to move to that state.
Until you go to move to that state that you have no control over, right? Like, you have to go there, and then your pet can't go with you. So yeah, that early education is really important for us.
Yeah. Well, for those of us that are wanting to help support your amazing work, can you tell us any campaigns or initiatives you have coming up and how we can help support PACT for Animals through that or other ways?
There are a ton of ways. So obviously, as a nonprofit, donations are fantastic. However, we also need, like I said, volunteers. So we need people that are able to foster or just tell people about us. So if you live on base, you've got people that don't know about us, let them know. I think there's a statistic that says 70% of people are more likely to support a cause or share something if they've seen family or friends do it. So even just resharing on social media, helping us get reach for those pups. We need volunteers that are able to do those monthly check-ins, or, it really does make a huge difference when we have boots on the ground, as it were, in different areas. So we've got people that have done yard sales and used us as the benefactor. So whatever they earned, but they also had like a big table of our information and our pamphlets. It's fantastic. The more the merrier. Right now, our big thing that we're focused on is a Veterans Day run on November 11th. We're going to be hosting that at the Lower Perkiomen Valley Park in Pennsylvania in person, which we're very excited about. We are partnered with the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office, Veterans Affairs Office, Heroes Fund. We're also been sponsored and partnered with the National Dog Show. And then the Philadelphia Kennel Club. So we've got some really big partners we're excited about. It's also virtual, so you can sign up with your neighborhood, your family, your work team, your workout partners, and you can run virtually. And you can do a 5K, 10K, or a 1 mile pup walk. We're doing a patriotic pup walk. The National Dog Show will be giving out Best of Show awards for the pup that's dressed up the sweetest. And we've got the hashtag PACT events. So we've got a hashtag that you can use, and we're going to reshare all those pretty pups and walking teams and running teams on our social medias, which we're really excited about. It's just another way on Veterans Day, especially to honor the veterans and, contribute to an association that's really trying to serve them. So yeah, we're really excited about that coming up.
That'll be great. Yeah. I'll have to take my 2 pups for a walk. And my one dog has a little red, white, and blue bow tie.
I love
it. Like I said, we're a little nuts. You can see why I love this organization.
Yeah. Trust me, our executive director has a little corgi that always dresses up, and it's absolutely adorable. I personally, from a personal standpoint, am thrilled about the social media aspect of this event, because I can't wait for all the pictures of these cute little pups.
That'll be so fun. We will definitely get the word out about that well beforehand. So as we come to closing, Julie, it's been so fun talking to you. And if there's anything else you wanted to share that we didn't get to, go ahead.
I'm trying to rack my brain, but I think that was pretty much everything. Just a final reminder that every single share really does make a difference in the lives of these pets, that we are just personally my big mission is the mental health aspect as well. Pets make a huge difference in the lives of veterans coming home. Knowing that your pet is there and you didn't have to get rid of them. I'm just incredibly passionate about the work that we do. And I would love in the rest of my time with PACT to never see another animal that had to get surrendered. So all the help that we can get, if you know somebody who might be interested in fostering, let us know. If you have a connection to somebody that might want to sponsor us or that you think might be a worthy connection that we can use to speak to that might be able to help us, contact us. Every connection, every share is really, it makes a difference.
And it's so easy. And on Instagram, you're PACT for Animals, at PACT for Animals. So you can just take your post and share it to your story, and other people will see that. And so all the military families and spouses that listen to this podcast, just take a moment, just share the story, because it will just help. Maybe you'll reach somebody that you may not have ever thought of, and it just can just be that little bit of help, I think.
It really is true. You just never know. And we have got people that tag people in our Facebook posts, like at so-and-so, do you have room for this pet? Oh, I don't, but I know this person, or I'll share it to my Facebook group, or, it makes a world of difference in the lives of not just these pets, but the people. We serve our military. We just happen to do it with their animals.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I love what you're doing. And I am, again, so glad to have the chance to talk to you today and learn more about it.
Yeah. Thank you for having me. It really is a pleasure. I'm glad that we were able to make it work.
Me too. I'm so glad we were able to connect. Thank you so much, Julie. And listeners, remember, you can connect with PACT for Animals at pactforanimals.org and all over social media. And military families and spouses, I hope you are doing great today, wherever in the world this finds you. And remember, you are brave, you are strong, and you've got this. And I will talk to you next time. Bye, Julie.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the MilSpouse Matters podcast. You can connect with me at jen-mcdonald.com or on social media as @MilSpouseMatters. You can find even more military life support with my books, You Are Not Alone, Encouragement for the Heart of a Military Spouse, and MilSpouse Matters, Sharing Strength Through Our Stories, as well as my other podcast, The Christian MilSpouse. Love the show? Please subscribe and leave a 5-star review wherever you're listening, and then share it with someone else who could use it too. Until next time, have a great week.